Rabbi Isai, I just want to introduce to you a guest that we had last week, Motzi Shabbos, for the very first time. After Shir, he told me an incredible story. And he's not going to say the whole story today. We recorded him and everything, but he wants to add a few words. Jeffrey Reuben. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Jeff. Here.
Good luck to all of you. My name is Jeffrey Reuben. I'm from London, England. I'm nearly 65 years old and have never learnt Gemara properly before. This is my first one completing a Masechta. I've been from for many, many years and have been inspired by three Gedolim in London, Rabbi Roberg, Rabbi Roberts, and Aaron David Dunner. I now believe I have found a fourth Godel. That's you, Reb Eli. You have made the Daf fun to learn, and that to me, and that to me is the Ikka. You've made it fun. As an Englishman and hopefully a gentleman, I stand and salute you, and hope this Olam will do exactly the same.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So Rabbi Isai, this week's parasha, Yitzchak, was Lasuach Basada. He went in the field to shmooze with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to shmooze. And, yeah, I'll get it on. You don't need the speaker over here. We don't need speaker. He shmoozed with the Rebbitzen Stefansky. Had a conversation with him, so I figured tonight we'll just sing Tefillah La'ani Ki Atov L'Fnei Hashem Yishpoich Sichoi. You ready? And also we have Eitan G in the house, so Memela, we got to sing it nice and slow, depressing for him. But everybody together. Tefillah La'ani Ki Atov ולפני השם ישפוך שיחוי תפילה ליוני כי אהבתוי ולפני השם ישפוך שיחוי השם שמו Shabbos Elchanan Ataste Ponecha Mimeni Beyoin Tali. Everybody, Boy Hashem Shimon Tefilosi. Shabosi Elchos Adaste Bonecha Mimeni Agud Bava Basra. Welcome. We have a lot of chosher guests tonight. We'll start off with you. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Tell everybody. Simi Chigger from West Hempstead. Shalom Aleichem. And your name? Alf Klein from Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah. And we have Rabbi Pollack with us, right? What's your first name? Remind me. Joel Pollack, of course. He's very famous, actually. A writer and a this, a that, a chesed. What do you do? Tell the Olam what you do.
I'm a writer for Breitbart. I write books. I write news.
Breitbart. Schmack. Okay. Givaldik. Who else? Oh, the guy with the hat. What's your name? Chol Samuel. Shalom Aleichem. You came with your buddy. I don't know if you're his buddy, but you came together to my house with, what's your name? Moshe Pomerantz. You just moved from, where were you? New York. Lives here in, somewhere around there. Givaldik. It's the very first time to the Daf. Givaldik. Who else do we have here? Oh, no, you've been here. You met me a dozen times. What's your name? That's right. The Talmud Moshe Pluchak. Moshe Pluchak, He used to come to my house, mamash, every day. Learned with my father. I learned with him Chavrusa in the Mir in Brooklyn. Statner Shalom Aleichem. Who else? More. What's your name? From? Oh, so you're friends with this guy? So why don't you sit over here? Come, get closer. Come. Anybody else? Am I missing? Givaldik. Okay. Look at this room. Bahamas. Look around. You have Hasidim. You have Litvaks. You have a writer he used to write for Haaretz. I don't know if he's proud of it or not. I'm not even going to point him out. Go ahead. Huh? I'm serious. It runs the gamut. I want to say tremendous yishkoyach to whoever bought the pizza. He's anonymous. He's in the room, but I don't know who he is. I really don't. Thank you for stepping forward, showing how to do it. This is how it's done. Anybody can step forward. He's a man. Got up, bought the pizza. Yishkoyach. All right. What do we have? We have Shaimik Gewurtzman, I think, of Gluck Plumbing, who I brought to the shir, going strong since Kiddushin. So what is it? A long time. Not been learning since he went to work at the age of 15. Mikam Yisrael, the photo was taken while Shaimik was in the office, not around, chapping around the daf before a busy day of work. I'm unable to express how amazed I am by the wonderful work they do. This is my cousin, Refuah Shleimah, Refuah Shleimah, Chosheva. Dear Rebbe, I started Yeshir beginning Bava Basra and I've been enjoying it ever since. I never missed an email. Okay, I'm kidding. I've missed a few, but I've been mashlim since then. He makes them all up. On a serious note, I watch Yeshir daily in the morning. It's truly changed my life. I wouldn't say the daf itself changed my life, but the Yomi certainly has. Now I wake up every day at 6:45 with only one snooze. I'm not usually the type to send emails, but Yossi Klein encouraged me to do it. He's one of the reasons I joined MDY. I recently received my 2024 YouTube recap. And MDY was my top podcast. P.S. The numbers don't seem to be accurate. I've listened much more than 26 hours, even at 1.5 speed or 2, but the message is what counts. PBS, my second to top ad was the latest talks. A lot of credit goes to Penny Rab. Thank you and keep up the amazing work. Ari Schwartz, listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Monroe, New York. Satmar Chusif from Monroe, New York. I think Satmar L'Chayra. Bava Basra Daf Dalid Yeshir. My top podcast, says over here. Daf Yomi. Beautiful. And now, I don't know, but Jeff, you said that you found the share while you were doing something on YouTube. We're not going to go into what. I hope now that's your top podcast. What else do we have here? This is Benny. It says over here where we're talking about the pasnish. People don't ride bikes because the pasnish, they don't ride electric scooters. They rather take the bus. And I had 4 seminary girls on Shabbos, and they were telling me that to get to my house for Shabbos, there was dozens and dozens of people. And they said yeshiva bacher, and we're pushing them physically. The Sherman Nagia flew out the window when you're waiting for the bus. So sometimes it's more tznius to go on one of these scooters and don't worry about the pasnish and what they're going to say for shidduch and this and that. What's the right thing to do? So one guy was jumping, he was crowd surfing. He was on top of everybody to get into a bus, to chop a seat. Okay, I see this. Hold on. Ranazani. About 3 years ago, I started Daf Yomi with you. I can honestly say it's truly changed my life. Another guy says truly changed his life. 2 in a day. And that of my family. At the beginning of Elul 2023, about 1.5 years after joining MDY, I made a resolution to daven Ma'ariv with a minyan every night. It didn't matter if there was a baseball game, Super Bowl, or I was in Hong Kong for business. I made that commitment and stuck to it, except for a few nights where I was sick. At that time, I not only do the daf every day, I haven't missed a Ma'ariv, and joined the Kinyam Masechta Shir nightly, where we learn Masechta's Rosh Hashanah. This gives me a lot of chizuk. These kind of emails. The guy changed. What did he change? Even if it was not only, but he Ma'ariv. He never missed a Ma'ariv. It's a beautiful thing. That wasn't the best part. I started noticing my kids benching more, opening up a siddur and shul more, and asking to learn hatzlacha with me. I asked my 11-year-old daughter what changed, and she said, I see it's important to you, and therefore it must be important to me. Instead of listening to music on the radio on the way to school, they asked if I can put on Daf Yomi, where I have a Masechtas Megillah downloaded. If they want to listen to music, and I put on Jewish music. Yesterday was my birthday, and a crowded restaurant, each of my kids pulled out a card. I didn't read this yet, so I hope. They made me, for me, the one for my 8-year-old daughter attached made me cry. Yosef, I didn't see it. I can't, because you sent it to me in that funny email format, which I can't open up. It made me cry, he says. Chaval. I wish I would have seen it. There's no punctuation and some spelling mistakes, but this is now hanging proudly in my office. You know, it's a good thing I didn't see it now, because then I'll probably cry right here. My kids recognizing and appreciating the changes I've made, even if I'm not always home for bedtime, and that those changes now seeping into their lives is truly the greatest gift I could ever have received. And it's thanks to your rebellion and MDY team. Thank you for all you have done for me, my family, and Klal Yisrael, sincerely. Psh, beautiful email. Your Talmud Ran Ozani. Love it. We got to get going. Here's Tomer in South Africa. Rabbi Isa, here goes.
Oh, shalom. ערב טוב רבו isa. מה קורה? מים ושמן בסעידה? מלא דלק, 95. אני רוצה קשם. חם מאוד, חם מאוד.
This is in South Africa, you
שבת
understand?
שלום. ברוך השם.
And now he has another one. The Masechta sponsored what? Yeah, let's throw them on the Zoom for a second. Let's see what it looks like over there. Do we have them? Let me start reading this first. The Masechta sponsored the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnassa B'revach, Yosef ben Chaya, oh, it's backwards. Zechrya bas Yosef and Zechrya ben Moshe. Kidnovations LLC. In R Eli Pressman Fishel. It should be a zechus. For Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga, shidduch. For Rebbitzen Stefansky and thanking the Rebbitzen Stefansky for selflessly giving up her husband klal. It should be a zechus for a year filled with Mazel, Bracha, hatzlacha, Parnassa B'revach and Refuah Shleimah, guys in Manchester. Shalom Aleichem. I get Voch. What are we eating over there? It looks a little schwach, the matzah, the food matzah. Hi, yeah, hi. Okay. We're eating pizzas. Geschmack over here. Refuah Shleimah, where's your dad? I don't see your father over there. He doesn't go Matzah Shabbos? He was there. Refuah Shleimah, ask where's Rabbi David? Couldn't make it. Okay. Refuah Shleimah for Yosef Shmuel ben Alten Nechama from his grateful family. Did I say this? Tzvi Spero, Refuah Shleimah, Tamar Ephraim ben Chai Blima. Parnassa Shavua, in honor of rebellion from Naftuly Kraus at Blackbird Recruiting. Parnassa Yomi, Mordechai Zapaznik, Zech Nishmas, his grandmother, Miss Zapaznik, Fayga Prince of Basra, Rav Yitzchok Elchanan upon her first yard site. Mayor Neshama have an aliyah. May she, Rav David Shalom Aleichem, may she be a Melitz Yosef and the entire Mishpacha and all of Klal Yisrael. Amen. Parnassa Yoim, Yoel Meisels. This is backwards, Yosef. Lila Nish, I'm going to do my best. Lila Nishmas, Ovi Meira, Victor Shalom ben David Mordechai. Yeah, but what does Hey Nun stand for? I don't know. Zechroya Levracha. Official mitzvahs motivated his family in honor of Rebbe Avrumi Kleinsberg, first trip to Eretz Yisrael. That's you. First trip to Eretz Yisrael. Wow. And to MDY. Because if anyone can give him... Is anybody going back to Yerushalayim tonight? You're going... Do you have a car? Do you have a car? We have a ride for you. Here we go. Give him the ride first, then Jeff second. If this is okay, it says here, it says... P.S. Is anybody going? It worked. Fishel, your sponsorship worked. We got him a ride. It was worth $180. Or next time, just put him in a taxi for $100. The art of the month for zechus rebellion, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. The boys, here we go with Daf Kufnu Aleph. Amazing. 150 daf into Bava Basra. What?
Pizza's on the way. It's Manchester.
Oh, really? There is pizza in Manchester. Beautiful. Okay. Eitan G, what did you bring today?
I brought you water from the well because Rivka
Yeah.
brought water from the well to give to the servant and to all her.
But you don't know this, but Rivka actually poured it into Eliezer's mouth directly.
It doesn't say that in the Shnaya Mikra. I poured it in.
Let's go.
Come on, I'll do it proper. I'll do it right.
Here, like,
Right.
but I know you're gonna get it all over my
No,
tie.
I wouldn't do that.
Let's go.
I wouldn't do that. I do it proper.
Okay.
Head back.
Shkoyach. Thank you. Shnai Mikra Targum, Rabbi says from Bereshis.
You're lucky I didn't
Helicopters
bring, I
coming.
didn't bring the camel.
Okay, awesome. All right. Rabbi Isai, here's the question. Everything we learned until now, if this is your first day here, and there's a few people that's literally the first day, halavai, don't give up. This is not how it is every day. It's going to get better. It's going to get easier. We're talking, we had two prakim basically about Yerusha, inheritance. So from everything that we learned so far, a guy is dying. It's his last minutes. And he wants to make sure that, well, the guy receiving wants to make sure. The guy shows up, the guy's dying, he has millions. He wants to make sure that even if he becomes healthy, he won't be able to retract. This is not a hard question. I'm asking a simple question. You're there, you're in the hospital. The guy says, I have millions. I want to give it to you. You've been so kind to me all these years. I want to give it to you. You're smart. You went to Daf Yomi. You say, okay, let's do X, Y, Z so you can't take it back. What's the X, Y, Z? What should he say? What should he do that he can't take it back? Rabbi Isai? Anybody? Keep a little. Very good. Okay, the Olam is on top of their game. So if it ever happens to you, you know what to do. Very good. Now, what if this guy that's dying says about himself, I don't want to say it, but he says about himself, I'm dying. I want to give you everything. And the guy says, yeah, please give me everything, but don't give me everything. Keep $1,000 to yourself. Give me 30 million, keep 1,000 for yourself. Does it still work? Can he not retract? Shapsi says no. Why not? Very good. Wow. It's the younger guys that always know everything. It's mitzava machmas misa. Very good. If a guy says, he even mentions the words that he's dying, then all these tricks don't work. Because he's saying the reason why he's giving all these millions is because he's dying. And if he doesn't die at the end, he can retract. You look new. You're not? No, you're not. Okay. Whew. All right, so let's see. We're holding like 5 lines down from Kufnan Aleph Amud Aleph. I'm telling you right now, don't get used to this. In Sanhedrin, we're going to be like Matzah Shabbos, like 10 lines, half a Amud behind, the whole Amud behind, who knows? Now, it's good. We're on the right Amud. Wait till Amud Beis. We got to learn a little bit. We have 32 minutes before the Israelis start coming in here. Now I have a long one. But Mazel Tov, thank you, Mazel Tov. We're talking about a guy says, Nechasai, my belongings should go to you. Does it include property? Yes. Does it include slaves? Does it include cash? Does it include a Sefer Torah? I don't know. So says the Gemara, Behema ikri nichsei. If he says, my belongings go to you, he's dying, my belongings should go to you, so it includes animals. Let me just see if I said the right thing. Yeah, no, it's not only dying. It's anybody. We said yesterday, anybody, even a healthy person. He wants to give things away. So I'm giving away my nechasim, my property. Does it include animals? Yes. How do I know? A person says everything that I own should go to the Beis HaMikdash, and there's some animals there. And it says here, Hamagdish nechasav. The word is the key word here is nechasim, property. And some of them were behemoths. So you see that a behemoth is called nechasim. That's all I want to see. That property, animals considered property. So what do you do? Really got mizbeach. You can bring these on the mizbeach. They don't have a mum. Zechariah Eli. So male become a Eli. Unekeva is imachul tzarchet zivchei shlamim. And an akeva for shlamim. How do I know what a bird is? What if he has a parrot? Or a parrot might be a great example. What if he has a pigeon? Birds are considered property. By the way, we're going to have a lot of stories today. Not the greatest stories in Shas, but stories nevertheless. It says again, he had yeinois, shmanim, oifos, he had wine, oil, birds. So it calls it nechasim. So here we go. This is just Yoshi being funny today. Here's a guy, he's wearing tefillin, he has oil, he has this wine, there's birds, all that, even tefillin, look what happens. It's called nechasim, and they disappear. They go to the next guy. Tefillin, ikri nichsei. When a person says, I'm giving all my belongings to Reuven, it includes his tefillin. This not a magdish nechasav, man loy tefillin. I read the other day that because of all these chayalim and all sorts of people that are becoming religious recently, that there's a tremendous need for tefillin. And somebody wrote that if you have like an extra pair or something, like you're not really using it, you got a Yerusha, talking about Yerusha, you're not, well, if it's sentimental, it's one thing. If you don't really, you got it, whatever. There's a big need for it. Throwing it out there. Okay. Hamagdish nechasav malnoy tefillin. Even this happened to me today. I was after learning the sugya. I'm sure it happens to a lot of people, not everybody, but it happens to me a lot. Like I learned something, and I don't like apply it to reality. You know, it's not like you learn this is shchimera this, and then when it happens, you're in the hospital. Like even though you just learned it a half hour ago, it's like you don't apply what you're learning Gemara to like real life kind of thing. Just this guy, he was learning hatzlacha about Nebuch. We have it now with the Chayalim. A guy doesn't have arms. What does he do about tefillin? So the halacha is he could put on tefillin shorosh. So this genius asked the question, very good, and what if he doesn't have a head? Could he put tefillin shel yad? Because he wasn't applying it to reality. It was just like, a halacha kind of thing. Without a bracha, yeah. How would he make the bracha? Ibaylahu, sefer Torah mai. So this is the only question. After we know that property includes everything, it includes real estate, it includes money, it includes birds, oil, wine, everything. What about a sefer Torah? This is the only issue. What's the problem? Kivin loim is daben. You cannot sell. Did anybody know this halacha? You cannot sell a sefer Torah. You see on eBay, you could buy a sefer Torah. Sometimes they're stolen, sometimes they're not. You cannot sell a sefer Torah. There's a guy put up a sign in Lev Elio here. He said he's selling a sefer Torah, and he wrote on the bottom, "I'm trying to raise money for Achnasas Kala." That's the only reason you could sell a sefer Torah, to learn Torah and Achnasas Kala. So it's not like I don't know about that one. I know what the Gemara says. On the one hand, you're not allowed to just sell it. You're not allowed to sell a sefer Torah. So it's not really belongings. It's not something that you could trade. But there are two exceptions to the rule, so maybe it is considered property. Teiku. So the famous Reb Shalom Ber Sorotzkin, I thought this is incredible. He walks into a bar mitzvah with a brand new sefer Torah for the bar mitzvah boy. Now, obviously, the father was probably a guy that gave him millions of dollars over the years, but it's genius. Another part of the genius is that when he walked in, everybody had to stand up for him. Yeah. So he came in and he gave the sefer Torah, and then people are thinking to themselves, "Wow, I want to give millions to. I give millions anyways. I might as well give him. I'll get a sefer Torah." So then I was thinking to myself, I'll make a deal. If anybody gives $1 million to MDY, I'll buy them a sefer Torah with my own money. All $1 million will go to MDY. I'll buy the sefer Torah, nicest one with the suuda. Huh? Anybody? Any takers here?
With a helicopter?
Depends from where. But yes. Eitan, you thinking about it? With Tashlumim. We'll do different. Weiter. Simon. Here comes the stories. Zutra imei da amra mitarte achvasa Rav Tuvi. If you want to remember the stories, Rav Dimi Rav Yosef. Says the Gemara the first story. Imei da Rav Zutra bar Tuvio kasfiru nichsol Rav Zutra bar Tuvio. This is talking about a partial amount of the nechasim. Here we go. Here's partial. Let's go back. Here we go. Matnas shchimera, the middle one. Partial. Miktsas. What do? You have to make a kinyan. If you're only giving, the guys that are new, this is the first day, forget about it. We'll get to the new sugi soon. If you are, no, but you can still understand. If you are dying, you think you're dying, and you want to give away some of your belongings, that's not a typical matna shchimera. In order to be a shchimera, to do where you could retract, you have to give everything away because you truly believe you're dying. If you only give part of it away, that means you don't really believe you're dying. So here we have a situation where the mother thought she's dying. She gave away part of her nechasim, not everything, part of it to her own son. She didn't think she was dying. Sorry. The boilin suvileler zvid. She wanted to get married to another guy. Second marriage. Obviously, it wasn't her first, at least her second marriage. And she didn't want her husband to control her property. She's being a mavrachas. She's trying to hide what she really had, so she gave it to her son. Says the Gemara in Siva v'Garsha. He married her and divorced her. I would also divorce her when I find out that she's playing these kind of games. And now the son says, no. I guess they had a beautiful relationship, mother and son. He says, I'm not giving it back to you. So she takes her own son to the entire. Omar. So Rabbi said, Mishum min tsuvei v'in tziva. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He said, look, you gave it to him because you're getting married. It's like a marriage gift or something. You got married. I don't care that you got divorced. Says the Gemara, Amar le Ravuna b'reder Rav Yeshua. Mishum da'asim Melai, because you come from a Melai, you come from the family of Eli Akayin, which they have, they die young. Amritu milu miliyasa. You're saying funny, broken things. So it seems like a nice shidduch, like the Shlosh says it's not. The Shlosh says because you come from Eli Akayin's family, and they all die very young, like 18? And they had a Rabba and Abaya, they lived a little longer because Abaya learned Torah, Rabba learned Torah and did Gemilas Chasadim. He says, what saves somebody from Eli from dying? Learning Torah. So says the Shlosh, but you have to learn Torah. You can't say silly things. If you say silly things, it might kill you. That's how the Shlosh wants to. Okay, you don't like it, you don't like it. I feel the man Omar mavrachas kani. Even according to the man Omar. Here, I'll show this. Let me see if I even have this. Mavrachas. The mavrachas means a woman who's trying to hide stuff from her husband. Here she goes. She's hiding cash under the. Kulana what? We all our wives do this? What does it say? It's Matzah Shabbos. You know what I'm saying? At least he's here, that's right. We appreciate it. Don't get up, don't leave. I'm sorry. I told you, my uncle, he popped open one of his balatot in his bathroom to fix something, and he found a crazy amount of cash that he himself left there many, many years before. It's like, wow. Then he forgot. Yeah, of course he forgot. Who knows? It's Israel, you never know. Maybe it's the old shekel. So he even says like this. Even if you mavrachas, not all, again, we're not talking about all the nechasim, some of the nechasim. Even if you say mavrachas, kani, that the person, if she gives part of her nechasim, the guy could acquire them. Because the other day we learned that a mavrachas, if she gives everything, that's it. That guy acquires it. But over here we're saying, even if you hold that by mavrachas you're kaina, the guy doesn't have to give it back. I'm sorry, what did we learn the other day? We learned that if she gave 100%, then she gets it back. She gets it back because there's 100%, so she showed that she's just trying to hide from her husband. But even if you say a little bit, the guy that she gave it to acquires it, because she didn't say a word. Because she told her son, I'm getting married, I want to hide her from my new husband. And over here, he married her and he divorced her, you have to give it back. Okay, so that's the end of one story. Let's just see what we have here. Just want to. Okay. Says the Gemara another story. Imei de Rami Bar Chama. Over here we have Rami Bar Chama's mother was dying. She was a shchivmera. You remember Rami Bar Chama had a brother. What was his name? Ukva Bar Chama. So the Gemara says, Be'urta at night, kasvino l'nichsel Rami Bar Chama. At night she gave everything over to one son, Rami Bar Chama. B'tzafra, when she woke up in the morning, katvino l'Rav Ukva Bar Chama. She gave it to her second son. Also, Rabbi Bar Chama came to Rav Sheshes. So Rabbi Bar Chama went to Rav Sheshes and he says, Rebbe, my mother gave it to me at night. Then she gave it to my brother. What should we do? He says, you know what? You were first, you get it. Also, Rav Ukva Bar Chama, he's smart. He's not going to go to the same rabbi. He goes, come to Rav Nachman. He goes to Rav Nachman's house. So he said, oh, you got it second, you get it. Also, Rav Sheshes coming to Rav Nachman. Now we have a problem with the Gdolim. Rav Sheshes and Rav Nachman say the opposite from each other. Well, let me ask you, why did you give it to the second brother? Imishum the hadraba, because you're saying that she's a shchimera and she took it back, she retracted, v'ashchiva, but at the end she died. So Rav Sheshes was of the opinion that if a shchimera dies, then the first thing she said is salad. You forgot the halacha. And I said it over yesterday, if you were paying attention, but here's the halacha. If this person would have retracted, would have become healthy, came out of their disease, and this person would be able to retract. Why? Because the shchimera who thought he's dying and then wakes up from the coma, he takes everything back. So that if before he dies, he has the right to switch people without anything. He gave everything to Reuben, the next day he gives it to Shimon. She gave everything to Rami Bar Chama, the next day he goes to Ukvar Bar Chama. That's it. That's how it works. So he asks him, maybe because it means not it goes from Reuben to Shimon, but Reuben to yourself. The Shchimera he just woke up, or he didn't wake up, but he could take things away from the guy he gave it to and bring it back to himself. But what about somebody else? He didn't say that he could just take it back and go from Reuben to Shimon and play ping pong with his stuff. One day it's Reuben, the next day it's Shimon, the next day it's Levi. No. Amar Lei, Beferish, Amar Shmuel, and this is la halacha, bein la'atzmi, bein la'acher. A shchimera has the ability to take stuff and give it from one person to another person as many times as he wants. Another story. Imei, the Rav Amram Chasida, Havelo Meloigid story. The mother of Amram the Chassid, she had a whole box full of stars. Taisus proves from here that the stars weighed a ton. Why? Because the Gemara in a second says that they didn't do Meshicha, they didn't pull it. And the halacha is you cannot do Meshicha if you could do Hagbah. So the reason why you couldn't do Hagbah is too heavy to lift. It must have weighed 200 pounds. 200 pounds worth of stars. Why is his name Rabbanim Chasida Rabbi Yisai? Does anybody remember? So we had this Maisa. Let me see if it was over here. Yeah. Here it is. It's added. What? That's right. Very nice. No, what's the story, Gil? Did you hear the shir on Friday? It's from memory? Wow, no wonder you're a good pilot. You have to remember a lot of stuff. Book this thick for weather. Shem Yirachem. What are the 5 types of fog? Of cumulus nimbus? Okay, you did the stuff you know. And I'm talking about that's I know clouds. I know.
Does he fly helicopters?
No, only jets. Okay. He'll help you out. He'll do you a favor. He'll join you. Anyways, the story's like this. They brought these captive women that were hostages. They brought them to his house. They put them in the attic, and they took the ladder away. It took 10 people to move the ladder. He was walking by the attic hole, and all of a sudden, the light. This one woman over there, she was so beautiful that he saw like a light shining through, and he couldn't control himself. He brought the ladder there, and he starts climbing up the ladder. And then he realized, "What am I doing here? What am I doing?" The only way, we can learn a lot from the story. The only way he could have stopped himself is by embarrassing himself. And what did he do? He started screaming, "There's a fire! Fire!" And all his Talmidim come running in, and they catch him, trying to climb up. And they said, "Rebbe, what are you doing? You're embarrassing us. This is what a Rebbe does." And he said, "I'd rather be embarrassed in this world than the world to come." But he decided to stop himself. And that's why his name is Amram Chasida. This is Amram Chasida. So, but Gil, tell me the truth. You knew the story, but if you would have read this, would you put one and one together? It's the same person from that?
I would have known that's why it's called Chasida.
But would you stop and say, "This is Amram"? No. It's a good thing I learned with my chavrus then. I didn't either. Don't worry. Yeah. Even the Rabbi Chasida Havela Meluga the story. She was dying. She said, "I want to give over all these documents to say that people owe me money." Also, so the brothers come to Rav Nachman. And he said to Rav Nachman, "Look, you didn't even do a kinyan on it." He said, when a shchimera speaks, you don't have to do anything. The mother said that it goes to so-and-so, to Amram, it goes to Amram, finished. You don't have to do a kinyan. That's the whole sugi of a shchimera, no kinyan. Another story. Achos de Rav Toivi bar Masno kasvino lenichsel Rav Toivi bar Masno b'tzafra. The sister of Rav Toivi, she decided to give everything over to Rav Toivi in the morning. Lepanyo also Rav Chadvoi bar Rav Masno b'chala. Rabbi is going to love this story. This is a classic. The brother comes to the sister and says, "It's not fair. It's not fair." Bracha. What? He's brilliant. He doesn't say, "Oh, it's not fair. You gave all the money to the brother." He comes from a different direction. Like Dale Carnegie said, I read this a long time ago. He said that this guy wrote a whole article against him, against another person, a terrible article. And he showed him, he knew that it's going to come out the next day. So he went to him and he pleaded to him. He didn't say, "Please don't write." He said, "Listen, my mother, the article's right. I'm a bad guy. But my mother reads the newspaper every single morning. You know what you're going to do to my mother? You're going to kill her." And I said, "You're right." And he took it out. He says, "You got to sometimes go from another angle. Over here, not, hey, I want money." Like, people are going to say, "I'm not a Talmud Chacham. You give all the money to the Talmud Chacham brother. Me, I'm not a Talmud Chacham. Please." So what did she do? She switched the whole thing. She gave everything to him. It was a great taina. I don't know. Manipulation. So he says, "They're going to say that I'm not a Talmud Chacham." And it worked. The trick worked. So they went to Rav Nachman. The Talmud Chacham goes to Rav Nachman. We just learned it a second ago that the mother, the sister, anybody before they die, they could transfer from Reuven and give to Shimon. I can give from one brother to another brother, not a problem. Another story. Another great Maisa. This woman had an orchard. Anytime she got weak, she thought she's dying, she would give it over to the brother. And when she would come out of the disease, whatever it is, she would say, no, I want the orchard back. So for the new guys, only for the guys that this is the first day, I'm going to say over the Maisa, but real quickly, my father-in-law is a ear, nose, and throat guy. ENT, head, neck, ENT guy. He does surgery. So anyways, I used to go visit. I used to watch surgery. I was very into watching it. So one day he says, "Listen, I got a project for you. I have this Holocaust survivor. She has major, she's a hypochondriac. She loves going to the doctor every day. I need you to take care." So I put on the robe, the whole thing. And I check out her ears. Like crazy, I'm checking it out. I said, "Wow, this is terrible. I think you need surgery. You got to put you on medication, this, that." But I didn't tell the English guys, this is the end of the story. The end of the story is she comes out of the room, she goes to my father-in-law, he says, "Finally a good doctor here." That MS. She all she needed was a little attention. So this lady also, I don't know what's going on with her. One day she's dying, she gives the orchard to her brother. The next day she's not dead, then she dies again, and she keeps on playing yo-yo with her brother. Zimra Chada, finally she's sick again. She's back in the hospital. Shalchale Tokini. This is for you, Shamshi. I did for you. Tokini. So she sends him a message. "I'm dying again. 25th time. Come." Shalach. You know what? I'll tell you a true thing. This is not funny. This is sad. My mother was 49 years old. She was dying from cancer, and she was in Muncie. I lived in Chicago. I had a job. The whole thing. I was doing renovations then. My father called me up. She says, "You have maybe 12 hours. You got to get over here quickly." I get on a plane. You know how it is today. It's much worse. But then, if you don't have prior, just to chop a flight right then and there, the most expensive flights. There's nothing you do. You want to say goodbye to your mother? Come there. She didn't die. It's there, day, 2 days, 3 days. I gotta go back. I go back to Chicago. I'm not making this up. This 20 times. Back, forth, back. She's dying. I'm telling you, she's not breathing anymore. Get on a plane. One time I got back to Chicago. I got off the plane. He texts me, says, "Come back now." That was actually the last time I did that. I came back and she said, "I was waiting for you to die." She would say this. And Lamai says she was nifter, one of those times. But people think they're dying. You don't know. Nobody knows. Baruch Hashem, nobody understands. And you think this is it. It's not that. One time I came there was candles, don't ask. Vidoy, and she didn't die. Okay. So he finally comes there, and she says she's dying. Shalchalei tokni, come get your orchard. Shalach, he sends back, loy bina, enough. You cried wolf enough. I don't want it. Keep it for yourself. Shalchalei tokni kalecha de boys. You know what? I'll make a deal with you. Do it in any way. You learned Daf Yomi. How would you purchase, how would you acquire this orchard in a way that I can never take it back? No, what's the answer? If you only take part of it, leave one tree for her, miktsas. But you know what the problem is. Ozal Shairo. So he said, okay, I know the halacha. I'll leave. Okay, I'll come. I'll leave you like one tree. And he took the whole orchard for himself. Kikaima and she's back to life again. She wants the orchard back, but she promised she's not going to take it back. They come to Rav Nachman. So he sends the brother, come right now. He says, I'm not coming. Why should I come? And this happens to us also. Sometimes you think, what's the Bezdin going to tell me? You think I don't know the halacha? The halacha is, of course, like me, I'm 100% right. I'm not going to Bezdin. Omar Mayaisi, why should I go to Bezdin? We already did the whole thing, and that's it. If you don't show up, I'm going to hit you with a thorn it's not going to bleed. In other words, I'm going to put you in chayr. You better show up right now. So Rav Nachman asked the Edom, tell me the story. These are the words she said. It's such a shame, I'm dying. In other words, I cannot believe I'm never going to see my brother again. I can't believe he's not showing up here. I usually get him to come. I always say this Mazel with the old man in this neighborhood. He had a house for sale, and people came to look at it, and as they were like, Nus, how much do you want? You'd say $6 million. What even sugar? This is going on, and then they finally realized he doesn't want to sell his house. He just wants people to visit him. So she didn't want to give the orchard to her brother. She wanted him to visit, I guess. He kept on visiting, like to say goodbye, final goodbye. But she said she's dying. Once she uses the words dying, that's called mitzava machmas misa. That's a different halacha. That's not shchimera. That's already somebody saying, I'm dying, I know I'm dying. And memela, even if she holds back some of it, which typically that would make it a matash shchimera that you cannot take back, but this becomes different. This becomes a mitzava machmas misa. Imkein. This is the first time we have it. I showed you this chart 20 times, but finally we get to see these words in the Gemara. The bottom one, mitzava machmas misa. That's somebody that believes they're dying. Either there's a few ways that could happen. I think we put it in a chart here. Either he says specifically, I'm dying, that's what I'm giving to you. Or he says, I think I'm dying. Or his situation went really, it turned a corner for the bad. So Mamela, that kind of person, even if he leaves some of his stuff over, he can take it back. He can retract. Hold on a second. We gotta. I'm sorry. We have 6 minutes left, and they're going to start coming in any minute. The door's going to open up, and they start piling in there, and we have no room for them. A person gives some of the belongings. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. I want to show you here. I spoke about the.
Over here in Lakewood by Big Oskin, Chuni Herzka. Wow, Kavra Torah over here. This is the Rosh Yeshiva of Refuah Shleimah.
Shom Bersorotskin.
If you don't know,
this is not the Sefer Torah he gave as the Bar Mitzvah present, something similar.
But this is a star for Chuni Herzka.
He's a big chaver man. Kids, if you ever want to buy your wife a gift or anybody a gift, go to him. He has great ideas. Okay. What else do we have here that I forgot to show you? Is this in Hebrew or in English? Hold on a second.
I decided to learn the Daf also. And I learned today that in a case that not all property was given as you claim, then a kinyan is needed. And therefore, the present is nullified. And I keep my houses for me.
Daddy, we all now join the Daf.
Join the Daf. Okay. Givaldi. Next, if a person gives part of his nechasim, right? Everybody knows the hatzlacha. We'll show it again, just in case you don't. Yeah, Madash Chimirad, that's the middle one. Oi, this is the wrong one. I didn't want to show you that one. Okay. Rabbana Amru Rabbana Kamed Rava Mishmei de Marzuz Rabbi Reb Nachman Domar Mishmei de Reb Nachman. He said in the name of Reb Nachman. Harei Kematnas Bari, Harei Kematnas Chimirah. Harei Kematnas Bari. It's like both. It's like a Matnas Bari Shim Omad Einoi Chayzer. If he gets up, let me see. Maybe it is that. Here we go. No, but it's the different one. It's the new one. Let me see. V'loi Chayzer. Here, you can't take it back. A miktas. And it's like, so on the one hand, if you give a little bit, you cannot take it back. But it's like a shchimera, it's like a matas shchimera that you don't need a kinyan. What you just said is different than everything we learned until now. That's like putting empty bottles on Rav Nachman. Here we have a little bit of a picture. Empty bottles on Rav Nachman. The opposite. He didn't say that. He said what we said until now. Harei kimatnas bari ubayo kinyan. When you give a little bit, you do need a kinyan. Not you don't need a kinyan. Says the Gemara. Esvi Rava Rav Nachman. Shir karka kolshu matanosa kayemes. My love the lekonomine. L'chayr we have a source that says that if you don't give everything, you don't need a kinyan. Lo the konomine. You do need a kinyan. In Achim Seifa. What do we do with the Seifa? It says lo shir karka kolshu. If he didn't leave anything over, he gave all his belongings to someone. Ein matanosa kayemes. Then it's not a good matana. In other words, he can retract. Be the kanumine. But if there was a kinyan, amayim matanosa kayemes. They made a kinyan. It should be a good matana. And that's the sugi we're going to see tomorrow. Actually, if a guy is dying and he writes all his belongings to someone, even though there was a kinyan. Omad Chayzer. If he becomes healthy again, he could retract. So that's called mitzava machmas misa. Another story. How many stories in one day? The mother of the sons of Roichel. Roichel is the name of a man. The mother, she was dying. I want this beautiful jewelry, pin, whatever it is, I want to give it to my daughter. This is mixed as the chazan. This is not the only thing she owned. It's worth 12,000 mana. You see that even though it was only mixed as the chazan, only part, they did what they said. She got it. The daughter got it. So that's different. She knew she's dying. She said she's dying. We all, what are the three reasons? And therefore we give it to the daughter. A person says, give this get to my wife, give this get shichur, a star to free my slave, and then he dies. You can't give a star after death. There's no kinyan after death. But if he said, give this 100 to so-and-so and he dies, even though that it's miktas, it's only part of what the guy owned, and it's without a kinyan. Now, in order to explain, how do you know there was no kinyan here? So the Gemara says, who said there's no kinyan? I'll prove it to you. Do me the get. Think about it. A guy is saying, give this get to my wife. Did anybody do a kinyan? No. How do I know nobody did a kinyan? Because nobody's allowed to do a kinyan. Are you allowed to grab a get for somebody else? No. Why not? Who said that? Very nice. You could grab $100 for somebody else, but you can't grab something that's no good for somebody else. A get is no good most of the time. So Mamelo, just like a get, there's no kinyan by somebody else. So nobody else did a kinyan. It has to be all uniform. This whole brisa, no, should all be uniform. So Gemara says, yeah, but it's different because you're right. There's no kinyan, but he was dying, and he said he's dying, and that's why it works. Typically, mitzvah machas nisi you need a kinyan. V'chitanya hani masniyasa. But what we're talking about over here, it's not a miktsas. It wasn't here. Look, don't look around. Look to the back. Look what's going on already. No yirvayim. You can put it on the video so they don't have to embarrass them. Oh, so we're talking about it wasn't a miktsas. It's right. If there's a big difference if a person gives away everything 100% or he gives away partial. So we said, it's $100. It's partial. No. The $100 is not partial. You know why it's not partial? He gave $100 to this person, $100 to that person, 100 until he had zero left. He had nothing left. So it's all his nechasim. All his nechasim he can retract afterwards. Then it becomes a madnash chivimar. So the Gemara just says 3 lines here and we're done. What's the bottom line? If a person is dying, well, we don't know he's dying. He's a shchivimar, he's sick, and he gives some of his belongings. That requires a kinyan just like a regular matana. Even though later on it was proven that he was right and he's dying. But if a person says, I'm giving this because I am dying, loy by a kinyan. In that case, you don't need a kinyan. Vudameis. He has to prove himself right. It's not a very geschmack thing to prove, but he died. Amad. If in fact he gets up, Chayzer, he can retract because it's Mitzvah Machzis Misa. Even though it's a pure kinyan, he could take it back. Rabboisai, have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Shkach to all the guests. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:10 for English, 9 o'clock at night for Hebrew. Grab some pizza.